Hello, welcome to my round 2 match. I'm playing mono blue artifact ramp up against Sultai Oracle in this match. This hand here is basically straight up nuts. We've got turn 1 mana crypt into Tinker. Having seen my opponent's deck, the only out they've got to this is Force of Will. And once I've resolved something large, which in this case will be a Blightsteel Colossus, they don't have any way of getting it off the board main. So I feel like this is a pretty solid hand, pretty likely to get there. They've got a single out in their 60 cards, so that is definitely very good for me. My matchup against Oracle is not great usually. I don't have any way of actually interacting with their combo. I'm basically just trying to do something incredibly broken, incredibly fast, like exactly this, in order to try and sort of get ahead of them. So you can see here my opponent didn't have the Force of Will, so we just go and grab Blightsteel Colossus and pass to them, where they will presumably realise they don't have any outs and proceed to concede. And there we go. So that makes me feel a lot more confident about the match, because now I've only got to take one of the two post-board games. So as far as sideboarding goes, I'm bringing in Platinum Angel. It stops them winning with Thassa's Oracle, and they've got almost no way of actually getting rid of it. The rest of it is just bring in a bunch of taxing effects, so Thorn, Trinisphere, Lodestone Golem, try and slow them down. As far as what's coming out, taking out Memory Jar. I don't super love it here because they've got counter magic, so if I'm trying to Memory Jar into more action, I am potentially just going to draw them into their Force of Wills and things. Chalice comes out because I've got a lot of sort of 2 mana rocks, and Chalice is generally the worst one of those. The 4 talismans will make blue, and Mindstone can draw a card. And then just taking out 1 or 2 other cards just to try and free up the space to bring in the 4 cards that I want to bring in. Looking at bringing Chain of Vapor in, but Chain is not really going to do a lot. It doesn't do much to actually stop the combo unless they're going for Jace. So Blightsteel comes out here because I'm on the draw, and it's sort of a bit less exciting when you're not tinkering it out incredibly fast. Once you've had a turn or 2 go past, you're generally better off, especially in the combat matchups, tinkering for a Sundering Titan. So you take your opponent off mana and stop them from being able to combo you. So this hand is pretty awkward with the City of Traders. It doesn't really have any fast mana. I can get a Trinket Mage out early, but it's not going to do a lot. I can't cast the Transmute Artifact, so I decided to mulligan this one. This hand has no mana, so I mulligan that. This hand is not ideal, but it does have a Mana Vault to try and get out early, and it's got Antiquities War, which can get cast. And then it's got 3 big threats, so I can just sort of throw some of those back. This is the point where I realise I probably should have sideboarded Wormcoil Engine out, but can't win them all. And I decided to keep Khan over the Sundering Titan, just because Khan's slightly cheaper. And my Mana Vault's going to get tapped to try and cast this Antiquities War, so probably better to try and keep the cheaper threat. And then of course immediately draw more expensive cards that I'm not going to be able to cast. So lead with Teleria West here, because that's going to give me the blue mana to cast Antiquities War on turn 2. So my opponent's left 2 lands open, which probably means they have counter magic, but I'm still gonna play the Mana Vault and then play out the Antiquities War, just because I don't have anything better to be doing, and it's not like my position's going to improve for the next turn if I don't play the Antiquities War. And if they've got a counter, you might as well get it out of their hand. Yep, and of course there's the Spell Pierce. So now my hand becomes pretty awkward because I've got a Mox Opal that's not turned on. My lands, one of them City of Traders, so if I draw another land, I'm actually going down mana unless I've got a 4-drop I can play. So all in all, this is a somewhat awkward spot. I'm just hoping that my opponent has a bad hand and can't combo me out. And of course my deck cooperates brilliantly by drawing more expensive cards and not, you know, a 2-drop or something that I could cast. So I'm not too worried about Opposition Agent. I don't have a heap of effects that search my library. It's more an issue, is just a threat that's going to kill me, because I'm also taking damage off the Mana Vault. So here my opponent milled Thassa's Oracle and Gifts Ungiven with their Mental Note, which is actually a bit of a relief, because the one thing that I was concerned about is my opponent being able to gifts and then just straight up kill me. So now that I know that they don't have the Oracle and I don't have the gifts, it means that I've probably got another couple of turns than I thought I might have had. But I'm definitely not out of the woods, that's for sure. So here I draw a land, but I'm just going to pass the turn without playing it, because playing the land will sacrifice my City of Traders, so it'll actually take me from potentially 4 mana down to only having 2 mana in play. So I decided to hold on to it in case I drew a 4-drop or something on the next turn. If I draw another land, then I'll probably just play one of them out and, you know, pass up on the City of Traders in order to start building up my mana for later on. But I don't have a huge amount of time, because my opponent is putting me on a clock here. Can't untap my Mana Vault, so I'm taking 1 a turn from that. And they're probably casting something here which is going to put me on, you know, probably a 2 to 3 turn clock. Thankfully they just cycled a Triumph, which presumably means their hand is about as bad as mine is. And here I draw Urza for the turn, so definitely got paid off for not playing out the island last turn and sacking the City of Traders. This will nicely mean that I can play this island out and exactly have mana for Urza. So now I'm just sort of crossing my fingers and hoping that Urza resolves. They haven't been playing a heap out from their hand, so there's a reasonable chance that they have some sort of counter magic. But it's not like I'm going to do any better, and I'm dying pretty quick to this Opposition Agent, so I need to just play it out. So here my opponent cast Demonic Consultation. It actually took me a little bit after this to work out what had gone on, but they named Pyroblast. They named, Red Elemental Blast on this, which got exiled as the first 6 they decked themselves. So pretty unlucky from my opponent there to not hit the red blast there.